Well, I'm guessing that TV loves us. If you go to an Oklahoma State game, you don't turn it off all the way till the final buzzer goes off. And really proud of our team coming on the road and being resilient in overtime. The momentum was on their side in the fourth quarter, and so we were able to get a touchdown and then get a big stop. We were tired on defense. West Virginia tempoed us. They controlled the tempo on offense, and they fatigued us some. But our guys were able to rally at the end and make a play and found a way to win. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us. As we all know, we've got to do a better job of rushing the football, come up with a way to run the football more effective, which will help our passing. Had way too many turnovers tonight, had special teams mistakes. We had a botched extra point, and we weren't very good in our coverage units. But I don't know what to say. Ultimately, in the end, we found a way to win. Our defense played well enough in the first half to keep us in it. So we're excited about being 6-0, but we need the week off. The open date comes at a good time for us. We've been at it 10 weeks, and we saw a little bit of fatigue in practice this week, and we were hoping that we could fight through it in this game. So it worked out well for us, but we certainly need some rest, and we've got some work ahead of us from an X's and O's standpoint.
Mike, how do you the overtime? You mentioned your guys were getting tired, but the offense comes out and the line opens up some big holes for your run game, and the defense gets the stops that they need. It seemed like physically they found it.
Yes, we changed our blocking scheme in overtime. We had enough time to talk about it, and we made some adjustments formation-wise, and we changed our blocking scheme, and Rennie came in and ran the ball really effective for us. And that would be the only answer for how we were able to actually rush the ball some in overtime.
What about defense overtime?
Well, they did a good job. You know, he went for the 4th and 2. I knew he was going to run the ball, and we told him, but they were pounding on us. And the big play was where we were able to stop them, and then I think the quarterback tried to keep the ball and bounce outside, and we were able to get him for that 6-yard loss and kind of put their backs against the wall. And they were tired, and it's hard for me to say that because as a coach you always want to have your players in a position where they're not fatigued, but we were a little tired, and I think last week's game and the game the week before that, I think took some juice out of our players, and it showed up a little bit with our football team tonight.
What was the thought process of 4th down and why JWs?
Well, there really wasn't any because we have a lot of faith in JW. We have a lot of faith in that style of offense, and even if there's a player in the hole that's unblocked, he's pretty nifty at sliding and making that guy miss. And I just didn't feel like that 1 yard was worth kicking a field goal on the road. And they had all the momentum. And so I just felt like that we needed to give ourselves a chance to win, and we have to get 1 yard at some point. Now, the argument with that would be there was times that we couldn't get a yard running the ball. But you just have to find a way to do it. And the second part of it is your angle's not very good on your field goal at that point either. So, but more importantly, we're on the road. I mean, they got 60,000 people here. We got to get a yard and try to win the game.
Have you had a 3-game stretch like this where it's been as wild as these last 3 weeks?
You know, one thing about OSU, you can always watch OSU games over in the history in the last 10 years, and they're exciting games, a lot of them. But I have not ever coached in 3 games like this. And that's what I had mentioned earlier. I think it took some gas out of our players. There's a lot of adrenaline and excitement and energy and that's burned in games like this. And you say, well, you just come back and you have a week, but it doesn't work that way. We didn't feel like we practiced very good Tuesday, and that's when I was concerned about our energy level. We cut way back on Wednesday, and we weren't as much on Thursday. And there's some risk there because you lose reps to get ready to play in the game, but we just felt like that we needed to cut back because our players were burned out.
Mike, you talked about the defense stepping up late. What does it say that they're able to do that without a guy like Ryan Simmons, a veteran leader, that they're able to make those plays?
Chad is playing pretty well. but you don't have the experience and, as you had mentioned, the leadership of essentially a 4-year starter. And so the other guys, Ogball and Bean and Stearns and Flowers and Lampkin and those guys have to step up. And, we lost Peterson because he got a little groin strain, and I don't think he even played in the second half. So we were down another guy there who's not only a good player, but he's one of your leaders. So I'm really proud of our team, and I don't really have an explanation for everything other than they've been pretty resilient at the end of these games.
How much do you work on stripping the ball in practice?
All the time. We work more in the spring and in preseason camp. We've worked more on that than probably 5 times more on that than we have in my first 10 years here as a head coach. We've put a lot of time and effort into trying to get the ball out and force turnovers.
We started to rely on Walsh there towards the end of the game. Switching in 2 out of the game, what was your game strategy at that point?
We weren't as effective as we needed to be rushing the football when Mason was in there, and obviously Mason's not the same run threat, and it's very similar to what they were doing with number 3. He can pull it and keep the ball, so somebody has to be accountable for him. When JW's in the game, I would think that they would have to be aware of where he is on the field because he can keep the ball. And so we needed a change. We needed a little different style, and he was able to come in and give us something. And we mentioned in preseason camp that there would be a time that we would need him as a change-up, and it worked out well for us tonight.
Mike, you had more than double-digit receivers catch passes tonight,
Mm-hmm.
and just throw the ball around the lot. Is that part of the strategy, or?
We have had, I'm going to say, every game this year we've probably had double-digit receivers catch passes. We're very fortunate. We have a number of receivers that can make plays, and our backs are good receivers, Titan and our Cowboy backs. So I think that's one of the advantages we have is we can spread the ball around, and makes us pretty balanced in a throwing game.
Mike, you touched on, but Emmanuel had a big night tonight, especially early with the touchdown and the half sack. I mean, does he just continue to pressure?
He is, and he was tired. I could see by looking in his eye that he plays so hard, and he's had so many reps in the last 3 weeks, and then tonight, I thought he was tired at the end, but he's a force. I mean, there's no question that he's a really, really good college football player, and his leadership with his effort and his ability to make plays obviously gives us a chance to be a pretty good defense.
Anything else for Coach?
You said you know more about this game when you got into this month. Finding out more.
We're knock on wood, we're pretty good at the end of the games. I found that out, but we have to be a better rushing football team, John. And so, as a coaching staff, we've got to come up with a way to be a little bit more balanced. And what happens is it allows the other teams to play so much pass, and there's not as many windows to throw the ball, and that's when you throw some interceptions. So I don't know if we can fix it overnight, but we have to improve in that area in order for us to continue to make a run through conference play. I like our defense. I didn't think we covered kicks very good tonight. In fact, I know we didn't. And I wasn't happy that we botched a PAT. So those are areas that we'll stress over the next 2 weeks to improve. Thanks, guys.